University of Texas students are feeling the effects of that new state law, Senate Bill 17. It went into effect back on January the 1st. It bans diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, which many students consider a safe space on campus. Now, barely a week into the new semester, students say the new law is impacting more than just campus offices. KVUE's Kelsey Sanchez joins us here in the studio tonight to explain. Kelsey.
Good evening, Brian. University faculty members say there's a lot of misconceptions about what exactly is in the law and how to implement it. But students say it's now affecting student groups and milestone events. Devastating, twisted, disheartening. Those are just some of the words written on social media posts to describe how SB 17 is affecting some UT Austin students and alumni.
It's definitely heartbreaking.
The new state law bans diversity, equity, and inclusion offices at the University of Texas. It also takes away certain organizations. And students say it's affecting cultural graduation ceremonies. Ceremonies many students were looking forward to.
I mean, it's kind of sad, but with the cancellation of DEI, you're going to see much more rollbacks. Like, this is just like the start of it, and them closing the center altogether.
It's just a time to celebrate our goals and our successes. So I definitely felt a sense of loss, I would say.
SB 17, which went into effect January 1st, forced the university to close the Multicultural Engagement Center.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story out of Texas, specifically at the University of Texas, Austin, because the woke students there are having a major meltdown over the DEI ban that was passed in Texas, okay? The Texas Congress passed a ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion, basically saying that, listen, any kind of preference based on sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin is prohibited, right? This is not something that we can fund with taxpayer dollars. Now, this has a major trickle-down effect at these universities, a lot of these universities being woke, okay, practicing segregation actively, funded by taxpayer dollars, and now the jig is up, right? They can't do it anymore, okay, and now you're seeing an end to taxpayer-funded segregation, like, for example, cultural graduations, aka segregated graduations. Okay, we've covered these types of stories, guys, where you have these woke schools having these graduations for certain segments of people, right? Basically non-whites. Okay, there's a black graduation, there's an LGBTQ graduation, there's a, I don't know, Hispanic graduation, there's a BIPOC graduation, right? They do these cultural graduations as if white people don't have culture, right? That's also another part. They call it cultural graduations as a way to differentiate themselves or to segregate themselves away from whites, as if white people don't have a culture. But anyways, that's what they do, right? They have segregated graduations. And now the students are pissed off. They're mad because they can't do that anymore, right? You can't practice taxpayer-funded segregation anymore. You have to actually believe and adhere to the principles of equality and treating everybody equally and the same, okay? And we know that they don't want to do that. They don't like doing that because what these people really want is not equality. What they want is special rights and privileges, okay? They want to be able to do things that other people can't do and then say, hey, that is treating everybody fair, right? And that's just simply not the case, okay? But it goes further than that because you have the Multicultural Engagement Center, okay, at the university being forced to close down, okay? And this center housed a bunch of different student groups, like, for example, the queer people of color and allies groups, the Students for Equity and Diversity, the Latino Leadership Council, the African American Affairs Group, again, a bunch of different woke groups, right? That, I mean, quite honestly, come on, come on. Like, what are you really doing, right? What are we doing here, okay? But anyways, yeah, so that center has been shut down, and that means massive layoffs at the school. And again, the woke students are unhappy about this. They're upset. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Austin is reportedly getting ready to lay off as many as 60 employees who were in diversity, equity, and inclusion-related jobs at the university.
It's a byproduct of Senate Bill 17, the state's ban on DEI initiatives at public universities. It comes a week after the state senator who wrote the bill warned university system leaders about not complying with it. KVU's Darren Shaharan spoke with students about these changes tonight. She joins us now live from campus with more. Darren.
Quita and Brian, students tell me over 1,000 of them got together in a private meeting tonight to talk about how to stop this. Like many of those possibly 60 staff members, they were shocked because everyone was under the impression that these jobs were secure. UT students are mobilizing after learning that some staff members will be fired because of the trickle-down effect of SB 17, which bans diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives at public universities.
Honestly, I cried and I was angry. A lot of people are upset. All of my group chats are raging, all of the group me's, all of the slacks, everybody is raging.
They say the people and experiences close to them are being ripped away. According to our partners at the American Statesman, at least 60 staff members who were previously in DEI roles have been notified that their last day is at the end of the semester. In a letter to the UT community, President Jay Harsel wrote in part, quote, "To reduce overlap, we are closing the Division of Campus and Community Engagement and redistributing the remaining programs," end quote. That division used to be DEI related and, like similar departments, had to change its name in January because of the new law.
This is just Texas. Texas does not want us here. Texas has never wanted us here.
Christiana McAfee with the Black Student Alliance says a lot of the DEI related jobs are filled with people who look like her.
For most of us Black students, these are our only letters of recommendation. These are the only people that we can get close enough with to build a further relationship with us.
A lot of them were just there for me and gave me a lot of resources and were always there when I was unsure of what to do or if I just wasn't feeling right about something.
Harsel also says staff members whose positions are being eliminated can apply to existing open positions at the university. And just 40 minutes ago, House Speaker Dade Phelan issued a statement on social media saying the DEI ban was meant to, quote, cultivate and educate an education system that celebrates diversity of thought while also ensuring every student, regardless of their background, has an equal opportunity to succeed, end quote. And he applauds today's action by UT. Now, UT has not confirmed how many staff members will be fired, but I know that the students say they worry that some of the classes that they love will be next to go. They hope that the community will rally behind them. Live at the University of Texas, I'm Darren Shaharan, KVU News.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? And listen, I don't want people to get it twisted. I am not celebrating people losing their jobs, right? I think it's actually sad when people lose their jobs, okay? Even if you are a college student on campus and you lose a job as a result of something like this. I don't necessarily celebrate that, but at the same time, low key, I do agree with what Texas is doing because we cannot have this legalized racial segregation. We can't do it, right? We can't do it, okay? And, that is what DEI is, right? DEI is, a form of racial segregation. That's what it is. And we just can't have that, right? We can't have that on college campuses, and we cannot have that be funded by taxpayer dollars because we all know that if you are white, okay, and you try to start a center for only whites, okay, and you say, well, blacks are not allowed or Latinos aren't allowed, nobody else not, people are going to say, no, this is wrong, you can't do that, right? And we've seen these so-called multicultural centers be used as basically segregationist facilities, right? Okay, you guys remember the story out of Arizona? Okay, the story about the girls trying to kick out the white guys from the multicultural center because they're not allowed in that space, right? That's supposed to be a safe space away from whites. Y'all remember that story?
Wrong.
You have a better. You're offensive. Police lives matter?
You have the same sticker.
We're just trying to do school.
What?
You guys have the same sticker of the other.
But this is our space.
We've got a Police Lives Matter sticker and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school. You just said we have to leave.
No, I said you're making the space uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
But you're white. Do you understand what a multicultural space? It means you're not being centered.
White's not a culture?
No. No, it's not a culture. It's white is not a culture. Say it again to the camera. You think whiteness is a culture?
This is insane.
So anyways, this is the violence that ASU does, and this is the type of people that they protect. Okay, this white man thinks he can take up our space, and this is why we need a multicultural space, because they think they can get away with this shit.
I'm gonna sit here the whole time, and you can find somebody to kick me out.
That's cool. We will.
We're not kicking you out. We're asking you to leave if you have any consideration for people of color and or marginalized.
Sure, clearly don't.
That I can go?
Yeah, the whole rest of the campus, the second floor, the first floor, the whole MU, every single part of the campus centers you. This is the only space that you're not centered, and you're still trying to center yourself, which is peak white cis male bullshit.
And the so-called multicultural space is reportedly a study hall that has not been designated as a place for the marginalized. We should note one of the most common opinions is that if two white males went aggressively after a black female student to get out of their racial space, we'd hear a whole lot more about this story. Tucker.
The DOJ would be there in about 8 minutes. That's true. Trace Gallagher, great to see you. Thank you.
You too.
Yeah, so again, that is what you have happening as a result of DEI, which again is taxpayer-funded segregation and racism. Okay, so, you know, a lot of people are going to try to see this as some type of racist attack by forcing these centers to be shut down, these centers that promote racism, right? But it is actually not a racist attack. It actually really is anti-racist, right? Because they love anti-racism, but we're talking about not the woke ideology of anti-racism, which is just racism towards whites. We're talking about the actual meaning of the word anti-racism, right? The real meaning, when you take the meaning of anti and racism and you put it together, right? That meaning, which is that, hey, we are not allowing people to be openly racist towards anybody, including whites, right? Which apparently, again, according to the woke left, makes you racist, right? That's the funny part about it. But, you know, these students are trying to you know, basically say that, well, this is the only place where I can go where I feel like I can get letters of recommendation or resources, or I can talk to somebody. And it's like, okay, well, tell you what, here's a good opportunity for you to learn a life skill. Learn how to interact with people that are not black, right? Or not a so-called person of color. Learn how to interact with people who are white, okay? Learn how to interact with people who are male. Learn how to interact with people who are straight. Learn how to interact with normal people, okay? Learn some networking skills. Learn some communication skills. Learn how to be an asset to people who don't necessarily share your woke ideology, okay? That's a radical idea. I know. It's a radical idea. Talk to people that you might not necessarily be comfortable talking to, but actually talk to them, try to get to know them, try to network with them. Learn a real skill here, okay? I'm pretty sure there are plenty of jobs on campus that you can get, okay? That you can replace. And this is probably like work study stuff too, okay? So this is probably stuff that's funded by the federal government, okay, and by the state. There's plenty of jobs you can get, right? When I was at UNC Chapel Hill, I worked multiple jobs, right? I worked as a computer support technician, fixing computers on campus, right? I worked in the UNC finance office, okay? I did multiple jobs, right? Multiple jobs, okay? And I worked with white folks, okay? I had to work with white people. I had to work with people that I didn't necessarily agree with when it come to certain issues and things like that. But you got to work with those people. And that is a part of learning how to be a productive citizen in society and go in the workforce. Because we know damn well that you're not learning any other real job skills with this diversity and inclusion. You're not learning anything outside of woke ideology. What real hard skills are you learning through these diversity and inclusion initiatives? Because to me, it sounds like these students that are so concerned, okay, about, you know, being able to get another job, or, you know, being able to communicate, or being able to get letters of recommendation, or to help themselves in a job search or whatever. It seems to me that they're lacking, again, certain skills, the network skills, the communication skills that are needed to be successful in the workforce. So clearly and obviously, you weren't getting that from DEI. If anything, it was probably making you worse, right? It's probably making it worse. So I'm just saying, I think this is a great opportunity to build some character. Okay. I'm just saying. But also on top of that, I want to add this in is I think this is a part of what I see as the path forward to making these colleges more efficient, right? People want to complain about the cost of college. Well, the reason why college costs so much, part of the reason why is, one, the federal government's just willing to throw money at colleges that don't necessarily produce degrees that have a positive return on investment for society. But also on top of that, they spend money on dumb shit like this, right? You spend money on dumb things like diversity, equity, inclusion, okay, that do not have a positive return on investment, that are not good for producing students that have real job skills. Okay, they're going to go out in the workforce and use those skills and make a high income, okay, and then, return that money back to the government. You need to eliminate this stuff, right? You have to start making college more efficient. You have to take some of the BS, a lot of the administrative BS, a lot of this BS out of higher education in order to bring down the cost of college. I'm so serious about that. I'm so serious. We don't talk enough about how college is bloated. There's a lot of things that are happening on these college campuses that have absolutely nothing to do with job skills, right? College should be an institution where we are producing students who are learning real skills. Now, again, if you want to go to college and study, woke academics or whatever, right, that's fine. But it shouldn't be taxpayer funded. That's something that you should pay for yourself. And that's the problem with college, right? We are paying for kids to go to school and to learn things that are not a positive return on investment for society, right? It's just not. And again, that's why the cost of college is so inflated. There's a lot of fat in higher education, these higher academic institutions that needs to be cut. And DEI is just one layer of the fat that needs to be cut, and they need to do more, right? They need to go further than this and start cutting some other things too that are bloating the cost of college, because they spend a whole lot of money on stuff that, quite honestly, again, it's just not necessary. It's just not. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.